Hi guys, Ray here from City Fan TV. Well, I hope the results and the performance in the Manchester derby didn't dampen your weekends too much. I hope you managed to have some fun, get things done that you needed to get done. I was up in Scotland. I did 3 shows this weekend, all sold out. So, from that point of view, from a professional, artistic point of view, I had a good weekend. Um, but obviously, from a footballing point of view, it were terrible. Okay. Anyway, some news on Marc Guehi. We're going to give you an update on Marc Guehi here. He apparently had his medical on Sunday, yesterday, and I think his contracts, I've heard, is going to be around about £300,000 a week. I think he's passed his medical by the sounds of it, and he could be unveiled as a Man City player today or possibly tomorrow. I mean, I suspect, it's only my suspicion. I suspect if he's had his medical yesterday and he's passed his medical, signing the contract should be a formality. We've heard a lot of rubbish in the last few days, and I'm going to address some of that. There's been a lot of rubbish out there. Now, I think maybe I'm trying to work things out in my head, because rubbish and rumors, yes, we can report, but not ridiculous rumors and not making up stuff, trying to pretend that you got some sort of knowledge. Look, let's go through some of the stuff. I did say that I expected Marc Guehi to have his medical on the weekend. Hospitals are open, especially private ones. You know, we knew early last week that City was stepping up the chase for Marc Guehi, and on Friday, obviously, we heard the news from Oliver Glasner, the Crystal Palace manager, that he was going to leave at the end of the season, and Marc Guehi wasn't going to play at the weekend, and his move to wherever it was going to be, obviously coming to Man City, was going to be finalised very, very soon. Now, I heard a lot of guff. There was a guff I call rubbish. That Marc Guehi might have been featuring the Manchester derby. I mean, as crazy as that. It don't happen that fast. You've got the paper, besides the medical, you've got the paperwork to do. So it wasn't going to be Friday. We're going to find out that he's definitely leaving, and Saturday he's going to turn up in the Manchester derby. That's a load of rubbish. Don't know who said that. We heard for weeks, some people have been saying the fee is going to be £40 million. Now, I understand people are going to repeat what they believe. They're going to regurgitate what they've seen in newspapers and dodgy articles here and there online. And I said I didn't never believe that. I said potentially Palace could push City because of our desperation, because of the injuries to Ruben Dias and to Josko Gvardiol. But before those injuries, I'd already said I expected a fee of 20 to 25 million pounds, because Liverpool agreed a fee of 35 million for the summer. Now it's 6 months down the line. I expect that to drop to 20 to 25 million quid. Palace, after the injuries, I said they might push it up to 30, 35, because obviously we're desperate. But the numbers are apparently 20 million pounds transfer fee with potentially 10 million add-ons. That's very acceptable to Man City. So, yeah, as I said, a lot of rubbish has been spouted about this. People saying that he'll do his medical this week. I said weekend. I'm going to say up front, guys, I know nothing. Okay, I know as much or as little as you guys. I try to read between the lines as best as I can. And look, when I talk about injuries, sometimes I can talk to one of my 2 brothers who are both doctors. So I won't go into too much about them, what they do, but they are very knowledgeable on injuries, especially one of them on sporting injuries, professional sports persons' injuries. So they can give a good insight on that. So I said medical should be at the weekend. It was. I said, I think probably before the injuries and everything else, I was looking at a weekly wage of about £200,000 a week. Although I think I've also said that it could be higher, but City want to limit it. Okay. Now, City a few things going on. City are going to pay Marc Guehi and his agent a signing on bonus. Okay, nice. I guess City don't want to pay all that up front, and they're going to stagger some through his wages. So I suspect 200,000 would have been the right sort of figure for his wages. The fact they're paying 300,000 means they're paying every year an extra £5 million. Let's say his contract's 5 years. That's £25 million over the next 5 years, rather than, here you go, Mark, here's £30 million signing on bonus. Now, it might be they give him a £5 or £10 million signing on bonus and these increased wages, so that by the end of 5 years, he's obviously got 30, 35, even 40 million quid. Because even at 40 million quid, as an extra bonus in terms of signing on fee and wages, City are still making money because they're paying Palace 20 to 25. If you get Marc Guehi for a 60, 65 million pound transfer fee, you'd be happy. I think he's worth 80. So, especially at his age, especially at his level, he's homegrown, all these things are in the favour of a high transfer value. So, the numbers sounded right to me. You know, people talking about 400,000 a week, and I don't know where people are plucking numbers from thin air, but the numbers seem to have worked. He's apparently going to be on £300,000 a week and all that. The question is, when is he going to be unveiled? Now, can he play against Bodo Glimt tomorrow? I believe he can play for City, even though he's played for Palace in the Europa Conference League. I'm not fully up on this. Hold my hands up, guys. I don't know. I don't know if he can play in the Champions League qualifying stages at the moment or not. Certainly, he can play going forwards. I think they do have a break off there, so definitely. But the club will be flying out. I don't know when we're flying out, but I guess Bodo Glimt isn't too far. We might be flying out today. I don't think we'd fly out tomorrow and just turn up and play. But I don't know. Hold my hands up. Don't know these things. So I think he could be announced today. I think what probably happened, they probably had I suspect they have a training session today in the morning or something. In the afternoon, evening, they fly off to Bodo for the match against Bodo Glimt, which I'm pretty sure off the top of my head now. Got to try and remember it is away. I'm going to have a quick check. It is away. So I think that's what's an itinerary. I mean, someone will know. Obviously, people keep on track of everything City. I'm not on track of everything City these days. So I think he probably, if they've done a training session, he might be doing some media stuff, get an interview done, get pictured in a shirt, you know, and all that, get some pictures and whatever, shaking hands with Viana and getting all that side of things done. And we might see him announced, and I think this evening sounds right. If it was me, I'd get him on the plane. Even if he's not playing, get him amongst the lads, okay? Depends how you want to look at it. You might want to do some more training. I don't see the point. Pep's over there. Team's over there. Let's get him over there. He can just watch the game, sit in the stand, you know, sit on the bench, whatever, or with all the coaching staff or whatever, and watch the game, see his new teammates. That's kind of what I would do. That's how I see it going. Available for Wolves? Absolutely. Ready for Wolves? You know, I mean, we're playing Bodo Glimt tomorrow. So let's say we're back Wednesday. We do a warm down session Wednesday. It's a light training. And maybe they have Thursday off, or light training Thursday and a training session Friday before the game against Wolves this weekend, which is the Wolves is on the 24th. And just as my luck is, I'm going to London on the 24th. I've got a radio interview that I'm doing on the 24th, and then I'm going to go and see an old mate of mine that studied in Leeds with over 30 years ago, and then seeing some other friends of mine who I've known for 35 years, a long time. So I'm going to go and see them. That's my week. That's my Saturday taken up. I can't remember. I'm going somewhere on Sunday as well. So I will watch the game. I will manage to watch the game somewhere along the line. I'll put my mates out or whatever, or highlights, whatever. Because I don't think it's going to be on TV. And yeah, so that's going to be. Unfortunately, my weekend away, so I'm not going to watch it. But I think he'll be in the squad for the Wolves game, and I'm tempted just to chuck him in there because, you know, look at it, get him in with Kushinov, Max Lane, I have no problem with Max Lane personally, but pressure can get to him. With the Manchester Derby and everything else, he wasn't as good as he has been in previous games against Exeter City. There's no competition for him, really. Newcastle, he did all right. So, but I don't mind if Max Lane plays against Wolves, but if you've got Marc Guéhi, got to play Marc Guehi, so I'd chuck him in against Wolves, put him alongside Kuchinov. I'd shove Nathan Ake as left back. That's my choice. I want that defensiveness. I'm not happy with O'Reilly at the moment. And I said as much yesterday after my review of the Derby game. And he only played half the match, but first 5 minutes when he came on, it was terrible. But anyway, I'd have Marc Guehi this weekend. So there's a lot going to happen in the next 24, 48 hours. Marc Guehi's done had his medical on Sunday. Should be signing the contract hopefully today. All that maybe even sorted out yesterday. But got to get results of the medical and all that. Hopefully he's going to be announced this evening with some interviews and pictures and stuff. Hopefully be on the plane to Bodo Glimt, and he'll sit there with the lads and watch the game. Hopefully he'll certainly be in the squad. Hopefully I expect him to start at the weekend, and then hopefully a very, very good City career to follow. We'll see what happens. But I've said for years, going back to 2018, 2019, a lot of what you see in the newspapers and on TV and radio, there's a lot of rubbish out there. There's a lot of made-up stuff, people with agendas, and a lot of the stuff that you see on YouTube, there's a lot of stuff that is just made up. People want to pretend stuff, and I don't see the value. But I also know that transfer tattle, transfer talk does generate lots of views. My videos on Marc Guehi, since I've been back for about 2.5 weeks making videos, the biggest video was a transfer on Marc Guehi. I think it was the one where he signed. That's about 4,500, 5,000 views. Thank you very much, everybody who's watched that. But when you do other stuff, you might be getting 400 or 500 views. Most of my videos, I'm looking to get 1,000, but that Marc Guehi one, I think, is 4,500, 5,000. So, people love transfer talk, which is why I'm not going to go directly at anybody, but some content creators are very happy to talk about transfer talk when there's nothing going on, really. And I remember back in the day, make stuff up just to get views. And if I want to get views, I'd go out and start fighting with Man United. I'd be outside Old Trafford having a fight with Man United fans. That'd get me a few 100,000 views, but yeah, it's not my scene. Anyway, guys, I'll finish off there. And just, if you are new to the channel, it would be fantastic if you could subscribe. If you can hit that bell icon, you'll be notified as soon as new videos come out. And if you can give us a thumbs up, give us some likes. It's always nice. Not really massaging the ego and all that sort of stuff. But I'd like to get the channel moving again, because that gives me, if I can see getting the views, getting new subscribers, it gives me a renewed energy. It gives me the energy to keep on pumping out videos for you guys, and it's always nice to get appreciated. We'll see you around, Blues.